Today, we're going to be revealing the $223 million market cap company that is taking out $150 million of debt to buy more Bitcoin. And not only is this company offering up $150 million of debt to buy Bitcoin, but they've already bought $40 million of Bitcoin. They've also come out recently. Sorry about the noise. They've also come out recently. They've said, not only are we going to buy that $40 million of Bitcoin, we're also going to put another $17 million into Bitcoin. So today we're going to be diving deep down the rabbit hole, having a look at what is happening with this company, but we're going to be doing a little bit more than just reading headlines or reading tweets like many channels do. You guys know we do like to run the numbers and run the maths. So we're going to be looking at the balance sheet, the cash flow, and the incomes that this company is producing. And I'm going to be showing you guys why this company endorsing the Bitcoin speculative attack could be as big, if not bigger, than MicroStrategy is. So as you can see, we got all the charts. We're going to dive into all of the data, crunch the numbers in today's live stream. But let's start off by revealing who this company is for those who may not know. So there is a company called Semar Scientific, and they now hold 828 Bitcoin, which is a whole lot of Bitcoin, let me tell you guys. But the most interesting part of this story is the fact they're going to be buying $150 million of more Bitcoin because they're raising debt. Okay, so before we get into the article I've got prepared for you guys, you can see that they have a $223 million market cap. Okay, now again, how big was MicroStrategy when they began putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet? They weren't much bigger than $223 million, just like Semar Scientific is today. From memory, they might have had a market cap around $1 billion, okay? We're going to actually run the numbers and show you that at the end of today's video. But you can see what happened to Semar Scientific's stock price and market cap when they first announced that first $40 million Bitcoin buy. Well, I've got it on the chart for you guys. You can see where they announced the Bitcoin buy. Their stock price is up by 50% in the past month. Okay, so that means this company originally had a market cap around $130, $140 million. They've added about $70 to $80 million to their market cap just by making that first Bitcoin announcement, okay? But they didn't stop there, okay? So we're going to have a look at everything they've done. So we know that they first made a Bitcoin buy. So this is the CEO, Semar Scientific, NASDAQ listed medical device maker. Okay, let's talk about the company a little bit in detail. So the company is known for developing technology products and services to combat chronic diseases. And it's recently expanded its Bitcoin holdings significantly and plans to invest even more in the asset. So their first buy was May 28th. Okay, you can see by the chart we have in our article that we did breaking down this topic, you can see their stock price absolutely mooned. So the first buy was $40 million on May 28th. But then they came out recently on June 6th. And what's really interesting is over here in their S3 filing to the SEC, they made a couple of other very interesting announcements. They said, you know what, we just bought an additional $17 million worth of Bitcoin, bringing their holdings up to 828 Bitcoin. But they also came out, and this is the most interesting part about what happened, okay? They also came out, and there's this little section here. I'm going to try to blow this image up nice and big for you guys. But we can see here, they're going to actually be offering up debt of their company. We may offer and sell securities from time to time in more and more offerings, up to an aggregate gap value of $150 million. Okay, so again, are they going to be buying Bitcoin with this $150 million of debt that they're coming up in? So they're issuing, through common stock. I think so. Okay, we can see here very clearly, they said it in the paragraph right below their $150 million debt security common stock offering. They said, on May 28th, we announced that our board of directors have adopted Bitcoin as our primary treasury reserve asset on an ongoing basis, subject to market conditions and our anticipated cash needs blah, 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 blah. So we bought an additional $40 million of Bitcoin. I'm not going to subject you guys to reading that entire article, but Semler Scientific is huge. Why are they huge? Let's have a look at the charts, okay? We got the charts. We got the data. We're going to dive deep into Semler Scientific. I was doing some deep digging about the company, trying to find out how much money they actually have, okay? So I was thinking, okay, a $40 million Bitcoin buy, that's pretty good. That's a pretty big buy, isn't it? Well, let's have a look at how much cash they have on the balance sheet. Okay, so firstly, cash flow. We can see Semler Scientific began to become wildly profitable in about 2018. So they made $5 million. They had $5 million of operating cash flow. But today in 2023, we can see that they have over $20 million of operating cash flow. So that's a whole lot of money, okay? $20 million of cash flow. And again, if we have a look at their revenue that they're making per year, we can see that they're a profitable company. In 2018, their revenue was $20 million and they were making about $3 million in profit. But have a look at how much it's exploded recently. So again, they're just like MicroStrategy. They're kicking off free cash flows. We can see in 2023, Semler Scientific brought in about $68 million worth of revenue, and their income for the year was over $20 million. Okay, so this company is making more than $20 million of profit every single year. We know the MicroStrategy is making about $50 million of profit every single year. This is how they've been able to stack 1% of all the Bitcoin, okay? They've obviously got a lot of cash on their balance sheet. Initially, MicroStrategy, they bought about $425 million worth of Bitcoin in 2 buys, okay? So they had 2 different buys in the first, I think it was the first month that they employed a Bitcoin strategy. And then from there, after they divested all of their cash on their balance sheet into Bitcoin, they've been buying Bitcoin nearly every month with all of their profits. This is exactly what Semler Scientific is doing. And as we can see, they're bringing in a lot of money, okay? They're making, as we can see by this chart here, blue is in revenue. They're bringing in $65 million in revenue a year. And in greens, their net income, so that's their total profit, they're making over $21 million of profit every year. This is going into Bitcoin. This is stacking Bitcoin. And this is obviously why they can offer up a lot of debt, okay? This is why they can, as they've done here, issued $150 million of common stock because there's demand for their stock, okay? Obviously, people only want to buy debt from profitable companies. We can see here, MicroStrategy's aggressive Bitcoin accumulation has it positioned as one of the largest holders in the world with over 200,000 Bitcoin. Semler's move to follow a similar path underscores the growing acceptance of Bitcoin as a legitimate strategic asset by major corporations. Massive. Okay, this is really, really big, guys. This company is buying Bitcoin is potentially the biggest thing that has happened since MicroStrategy bought Bitcoin in 2020. Now, something else that should be included in this talk about companies, embarking on a speculative attack against the dollar is, of course, Metaplanet. Now, again, they're not as big as Semler Scientific, but what Metaplanet has done is they're aggressively buying Bitcoin with a large chunk of their market cap. And as we can see by this chart here, the market loves it. I'm sure. So have a look at this is the stock price of Metaplanet, who now just quietly has a new, let's see what Dylan Leclerc's role is. I don't want to mispronounce it. So his direct role is Director of Bitcoin Strategy. Okay, so again, if you guys missed it, Dylan Leclerc is the Director of Bitcoin Strategy at Metaplanet. And as you can see, Metaplanet is embracing a corporate Bitcoin standard, and this is the important part, will strategically leverage public capital markets to acquire additional Bitcoin for shareholders over time. And Metaplanet right now is doing the exact same thing that Semler Scientific is doing. They're announcing additional buys of Bitcoin. They're not just buying it once. They're not just hedging. They're buying Bitcoin and they are putting it on the balance sheet. Okay, massive, massive, massive news. So again, this is happening right now at the same time that Semar Scientific is out there buying Bitcoin. As you can see, we've written about this extensively, so we're not going to go through everything to do with Metaplanet today. All you need to know is they're a small Japanese company. Their initial buy was about $6 million, and this was massive because their stock price at the time was only at around 15 to 20 million. So that buy represented about 30% of their total market cap. A big buy, okay? They're putting a lot of their cash, they're pushing their chips into the middle of the pot, and they're saying, look, we're making a big Bitcoin bet. And you can see what's happened to their stock price since they made that big Bitcoin bet. They're a dying company like MicroStrategy. But you can see pretty clearly when they announced the Bitcoin buy on this chart here, their stock price has risen from 20 to 85. So it's more than 4x at the time of recording. You can see at the very peak, it actually got up to 120 last week, which is incredible to think about it. Incredible, honestly incredible. So again, if you do want to read more about Metaplanet, you can check it out on our website, bitcoinnews.com. We broke this story down in a lot more detail, so we're not going to break it all down again today. I think the signal to take away from today's video is the fact that we have companies right now engaged in a speculative attack against fiat currency. We can see by the chart here that the amount of Bitcoin sitting on exchanges available for these companies to buy Bitcoin is shrinking by the day. Less than 2 million sitting on exchanges, okay? Less than 2 million sitting on exchanges. And as McLovin says, this is barely getting started. Many companies will adopt this strategy in the near future. The incentives are irresistible. Couldn't agree more, McLovin. I think the incentives really are irresistible. And maybe this bull run, we're going to see more and more companies really start employing this strategy. Okay, a lot of people, myself included, were surprised that we didn't see more micro strategies in the last bull run. I'll wear that one. I thought we would have seen more micro strategies and more not El Salvador's, but I would have thought we saw more central banks putting it on the balance sheet than we did. Okay, maybe the reason we didn't see more action last bull run was because that bull run was cut short by China banning Bitcoin mining, very coincidentally at the very top as Bitcoin was beginning to go parabolic in early 2021 at above $65,000. And also we had, let's call him a government-linked agent, Sam Bankman-Fried, aggressively naked shorting 60,000 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, 60,000 Bitcoin was how much Bitcoin he was supposed to have on FTX's balance sheet. He had zero. Okay, and we obviously have the conversation with him and Caroline that was made public, where SBF was telling Caroline, sell Bitcoin and keep it under $20,000. Okay, maybe those two reasons, China and SBF, are the reason we didn't see more micro strategies come into the space in the last bull run. Maybe that was also the reason we didn't see more El Salvador's come into the Bitcoin space last bull run. Okay, again, I'll let you guys come to your own conclusions about that and maybe what could be coming in the next bull run. Okay, again, who knows what happened? Who knows why we didn't see more companies coming into the Bitcoin space, and who knows why the price of Bitcoin aggressively crashed in that last bull run. But maybe it was an opportunity for people like Larry Fink to load his bags over the past 2 or 3 years, okay? Do you really think he wouldn't be quietly buying Bitcoin in 2023 when he knows he's going to file for a Bitcoin spot ETF as the world's largest asset manager? I mean, he can do whatever he wants with his private money. I don't think it's a very controversial speculation to suggest that maybe he was, okay? And maybe all of these other banks who have all kind of welcomed Bitcoin and warmed up to Bitcoin this year after the ETFs were launched, who knows? Maybe I don't know, maybe they had connections with Sam Bankman-Fried and said, sell Bitcoin, keep it under $20,000. Okay, we're not going to make any speculations on the channel. We're just going to give you some ideas and some food for thought for this Saturday afternoon, wherever you are watching this video from. Dan says, Apple, Google, or Facebook needs to buy Bitcoin. Facebook was going to launch their own shitcoin, but no longer, I believe. Exactly right, Dan. And you bring up something really interesting, Facebook. So we actually know that Mark Zuckerberg has called one of his goats Bitcoin, which is really interesting, okay? I believe he has pet goats, and one of them is named Bitcoin. Okay, again, read into that what you will, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Zuckerberg is going to try to adopt a Bitcoin strategy as well. And this is the beautiful thing about Bitcoin that Bitcoin Moon Guy brings up. They're not getting my Bitcoin. 100% correct. They're not getting my Bitcoin either. There's not a price in the six figures that you're going to get my Bitcoin for. As simple as that. And even in the seven figures, I ain't selling. I might take out a little bit of debt, a very small loan against my Bitcoin, but I won't be selling my Bitcoin. This is what BlackRock and co don't understand. Bitcoin is incredibly scarce. As you can see, only 2 million Bitcoin sitting on exchanges. Uncle Larry's not going to be getting mine. He's not going to be getting BTC Moon Guys. I doubt he's going to be getting McLovin's Bitcoin. And that's true. Mark Zuckerberg's other goat is called Max. Max and Bitcoin. Pretty great names. I'd love to know the story behind Max. Is there a reason why Mark Zuckerberg called his goat Max? Was it because I'm not sure. Interesting. Bitcoin and Max. What is the max pain? Everybody's short Bitcoin. There's a fun little rhyme and a fun little poem for you guys. Now, again, if you want to learn more about Metaplanet and the speculative attacks going on, and you do prefer to read your weekly doses of news, you can subscribe to our newsletter. Should be linked down below in the description for you guys. Some people prefer to read. Some people miss the live streams. Some people miss the videos that go out. If you did miss our most recent interview, I had the pleasure of interviewing Checkmate, and we talked about the Bitcoin power law. It's funny because Checkmate's probably even more bearish on the Bitcoin power law than myself, which was fun for us. It was fun for me. It was a fun interview. I enjoyed it, especially catching up with fellow Australian. He's very laid back and relaxed like myself. So it was a great interview. So if you did miss that interview, Checkmate, I recommend you check it out. As you can see, it's on page, bitcoinnews.com YouTube channel. And with all that said, guys, I think I might leave this live stream here. Thank you, BTC Moon Guy. I will try my best to enjoy Rome. Only here for a couple of days before heading off to BTC Prague, one of the biggest conferences, Bitcoin conferences in Europe. So looking forward to that. Thank you for the kind words. Checkmate interview is linked in the chat for those who want to check it out. And I think the greatest note to end this video on is absolute finite scarcity is awesome. Smart investors know this. Couldn't agree more. If you're watching this video, you stumbled upon this video, you don't understand what absolute finite scarcity is, study Bitcoin a little bit more. I promise you. If you look into Bitcoin for more than 10 hours with an unbiased, open-minded opinion, you're going to want to learn more. Simple as that. That's all I'm going to say. Guys, with all that said, thank you so much for everyone who tuned in. Check out our interview with Checkmate. Check out the video I did last week telling you guys how 0.015 Bitcoin could make you rich and put you in the new class of billionaires on a Bitcoin standard. Run the numbers, run the maths. As you can see, it's a full breakdown. Check that video if you missed it. And with all that said, thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy your Saturday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.